Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. So I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United. So I am going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Jack Grealish. There's actually recently been some negativity coming out regarding Jack Grealish, and I think he's our number one priority target for the summer. Also going to be giving you the latest news on Paul Pogba. I'm going to be talking with you a bit more about Alexis Sanchez and that. But the first topic I'm going to start with is Jack Grealish. So reportedly now our move for Jack Grealish hinges on the sale of Paul Pogba. So what I mean in that aspect is, for us to have any chances of signing Jack Grealish in the summer, we have got to sell Paul Pogba in the summer transfer window. And I think we're looking to get around £100 million for Paul Pogba, then put the vast majority of that £100 million on Jack Grealish. Now, Charlie Nichols, whatever you pronounce his bloody name, Charlie Nichols, yeah, he's come out and, he's actually, warned us over our transfer for Jack Grealish. And he actually, does believe, from his own perception, that Jack Grealish's valuation, will persistently go up and up and up. And that's why, we could actually, miss out on Jack Grealish. So that's actually, from Charlie Nichols' perspective on that. Obviously, you had Andy Gray coming out, was it last week or recently? And he actually, said that Manchester United should sign Jack Grealish in the summer and sell Paul Pogba. Jack Grealish will cost us around 60 or 70 million pounds, but Andy Gray does believe that he would represent a bargain at Manchester United. I think Jack Grealish would only cost around 60 or 70 million, or maybe 80 million at the tops if Villa were to avoid relegation. But on the other hand, if Villa were to get relegated, then Man United, wouldn't have to pay as much as £70 million for the player. Maybe we could get him for like maybe 30 or £40 million. Obviously, last week, Jack Grealish had an incident with his £80,000 Range Rover, and that had fueled quite a bit of speculation up, because obviously there was narratives coming out of the mainstream media saying that Man United could miss out on Jack Grealish in the summer, reflecting on the incident with his Range Rover. Obviously, Grealish was fined around £150,000 for it, and the incident, actually happened hours, before, Jack Grealish advised everyone to stay at home due to the coronavirus. But yeah, we've been relentlessly linked with the player. Jack Grealish has remained loyal to Aston Villa now, for several years. Jack Grealish has been an Aston Villa player since the age of 6. He's been in their senior squad since 2014, and since that point, he's become an integral part of Aston Villa's team, and I've got to say he has flourished under Dean Smith's guidance. You've got to say this season he was key to Villa progressing to the Carabao Cup final, and he was also key to Aston Villa's promotion to the Premier League. So I do believe, that Jack Grealish will follow the footsteps of James Milner and Gareth Barry, because they're also former Aston Villa players. But probably Grealish does believe now he is far too good for Villa. Still got 3 years remaining on his contract. He's still got a contract with Villa until 2023 as a player. He is predominantly an attacking mid, but also can play as a winger occasionally, can the player. But he is only at the age of 24, and he would fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly, because Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players in. Now, obviously, we've got a few ambitions, when the season does eventually resume. Obviously, the Europa League's an ambition for us, because that's a chance for us getting some silverware on the board. We are into the last eight of that. The FA Cup, winning to the quarterfinals of that. That's also another ambition for us. And, us getting Champions League qualification is an ambition. If we get qualification for the Champions League, then I do believe, we can recruit the right players in. And also, too, we can try and convince some of our imperative players to remain loyal at the football club. Now, revert back to the summer of 2018. Tottenham were actually, very, very close to getting Jack Grealish for around £25 million, but the deal never materialised. So in a way, we are seeing him as a replacement for Paul Pogba. But, Andy Gray does believe, he will go to a top 6 club, because a player of his calibre, wants to be in Champions League, he wants to be winning major honours, and obviously, he's not going to experience this with Aston Villa. is the player. So Charlie Nicholas believes, that his valuation will persistently go up, even if, Villa are to be relegated. But Villa, even avoiding relegation, isn't going to convince, Jack Grealish to remain loyal with them for at least another season. So that's the latest news on Jack Grealish. Like I updated you on my previous video, I did this morning. Solskjaer insists he will exploit the transfer market when it does reopen. I don't know when it is going to reopen, but when it reopens, he said he's going to exploit the transfer market because Solskjaer, is aware, that, a lot of teams are under financial pressure due to this coronavirus outbreak. He's aware that, they're under a lot of financial pressure. So he believes that, teams are obviously, going to have to offload some of their players to generate funds. So he's revealed his brutal transfer plans as Solskjaer, and I think he actually, told Sky Sports about this, and he's also, spoken with Gary Neville about this. We have been given a £150 million, well, we're going to be given a £150 million transfer budget in the summer. So this is how much Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be given, to spend at the football club. Obviously, the transfer budget will increase, if Manchester United can sell players in the summer. Obviously, so far Solskjaer spent around £220 million at the club in 3 transfer windows, and he has recruited 5 players in. So do you think £150 million is enough for Manchester United? Obviously, Solskjaer was coming out yesterday saying that footballers are easy targets, and he said, the criticism on them is unfair, basically, in that, because obviously there's been a lot of narratives coming out of the mainstream media saying that, players' wages are set to be, cut by around 30%, due to the coronavirus outbreak. Obviously, the Premier League have paid 20 million to the NHS and 125 million in advance payments to the EFL and National League and that. But like I said, due to this coronavirus, teams are going to lose millions in transfer revenues. They're going to lose millions in transfer revenues. Don't forget, it did say if the season doesn't resume, the Premier League face a financial penalty of £762 million. So let's put that into the equation. But if the season wasn't to resume, then, how would it implicate the leagues? And, that's going to be interesting to see in that. But yeah, and, with obviously this coronavirus outbreak, it's going to affect some teams' transfer business in the summer without a shadow of a doubt and that. But yeah, so revert back to what I said, that's the latest news on Jack Grealish, and now maybe, we could miss out on him in the summer. But Jack Grealish did reveal how much he would want if he was to come to Man United, and he would want around £150,000 a week, and he is well Premier League proven, so I'd definitely take him at the football club. Now, the news on Paul Pogba is that Real Madrid have identified Paul Pogba as their number 1 priority target for the summer. I actually do believe that Paul Pogba's move to Real Madrid could materialise this summer, because obviously Real Madrid have been relentlessly linked with him. Don't forget, Real Madrid were relentlessly linked with Paul Pogba last summer. He actually revealed Paul Pogba last summer that he wanted to leave Manchester United, and he was seeking for a new challenge, and even publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the club. The only main explanation why Pogba's move to Madrid didn't materialise last summer is because we priced Pogba out of the transfer market. We wanted around 180 million for the player, and that's just over double than what we paid for him from Juventus back in 2016, because we paid around £89 million from Juventus back in 2016, so he is our most expensive signing. But Pogba's now got the same perception as what he had last summer. He still wants to leave Manchester United. I think another main explanation why he's favoured to go to Real Madrid is because Pogba and Zinedine Zidane do have a good relationship. And, Pogba was talking a lot last year about his dreams of playing for Real Madrid and playing under Zinedine Zidane's guidance. So let's just put that into the equation. But Real Madrid, they did recruit a good 5 or 6 players in last summer. And I think, they spent, was it £200 million? Or was it £300 million they spent on 6 players? Obviously, Madrid got Hazard in from Chelsea. After he enjoyed 7 years with Chelsea, Eden Hazard, but they got him in last summer. They also got Luka Jovic in from Frankfurt. They also got Ferland Mendy, Rodrigo, Eder Militao. So Madrid did recruit quite a few players in, but they've also lost quite a few of their imperative players in recent years. But yeah, Pogba is their number 1 priority target. They've also been in for Donny van de Beek from Ajax. He's probably an alternative to Paul Pogba and that. But yeah, I think, Paul Pogba has revealed his priority is to join Real Madrid in the summer transfer window. And, we have revealed, like I mentioned, we want around £100 million for Paul Pogba this summer. But that figure is totally comparison to the one last summer, because like I mentioned, last summer we wanted £180 million. So I think, Pogba has recently made an admission, and he did say he could take a FIFA transfer regulation to buy out the remainder of his contract for around £50 million. Obviously, as it stands at the moment, Pogba's got 2 years left on his contract at Manchester United. 1 year with an option of a further year. Whether Man United trigger this 1 year extension or not, I do not know. But, the reports that have been coming out recently, have been totally comparison to the ones that were coming out around, 2 or 3 weeks ago now? Because obviously, in Austria, Solskjaer did say that Pogba will remain at Man United next season. He also, and he basically reiterated what Pogba had said before the game against Last, before all the football got suspended, because Pogba said himself he was interested in staying at Man United and he was interested in extending his contract at the club, because he does believe, Pogba, that he can form a good partnership with Bruno Fernandes, and I do believe they do very, very well together in our midfield with Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. But either way, Pogba, will definitely play again for Manchester United. But Solskjaer still knows, how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is, definitely. Obviously, Pogba has only played 8 times this season for Manchester United, so his appearances have been limited. Definitely his appearances have been limited. But Pogba sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player, since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. Obviously, like I mentioned, his agent Mini Raiola has been talking a lot since the turn of the year, and, Ed Woodward's had quite a few negotiations with him to try and resolve Paul Pogba's future, because there's been so much uncertainty over Paul Pogba's future. But Mini Raiola's made a number of public attacks against the football club since the turn of the year, and we've been very, very critical of that. There were some reports the other week saying, we was convinced that we could keep Pogba because we were sceptical that Madrid or Juventus could finalise a deal for him, and maybe, they wouldn't have they may have, insufficient funds, and they may not be able to afford what we're demanding for him, due to the coronavirus outbreak. But there's also been swap deals on the agenda. There's been talks of De Ligt coming to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going back to Juventus. There were talks the other week about Ramsey coming to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going back to Juventus and that. So swap deals have been on the agenda, but like I mentioned, swap deals are very, very rare in the modern game. But since Paul Pogba rejoined the club, he's just had a long-running transfer saga. Like I mentioned as well, he enjoyed a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era, because he had a bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. But Pogba's 27. He is still regarded as one of the best midfielders in the world. Pogba, has not experienced winning the Premier League with us or winning the Champions League, but he has won, I think, the Europa League with us, and, the League Cup with us as Paul Pogba. And I think he also won the FA Cup with Man United. No, he hasn't. I don't think he has. I don't think he was here under Louis van Gaal. So he's won the Europa League and the League Cup with us. And I think Pogba's on 140 odd appearances in all competitions, and I think he has scored around 31 goals for the club. PSG and Barcelona have also been in for him in the past. But if Paul Pogba was to stay, and he wasn't to leave in the summer, he would only stay for another season, and I think, he would depart the club. But I think he's on his way out of the football club anyway, and us getting rid of Pogba, it would totally free up our wage bill, because, Pogba's on like 300 grand a week at Manchester United. So, yeah. So, Real Madrid now have identified him as their number one priority target. So, that's the latest news on Paul Pogba. But we are in the market for a replacement for him. Obviously, Maddison, he's been another player on our agenda. I think we're actually seeing Maddison as an alternative to Grealish. In case we don't get Grealish, we'll look to get Maddison. Maddison will cost a similar amount, to Grealish. Maddison had cost maybe in the 60 odd or 70 odd million pound range. I don't think Leicester, though, have got any intentions of selling James Maddison. James Maddison now is into his second season with Leicester. He's basically, replicating, what he did in his first season, because in his first season with Leicester, Maddison created more chances than any other player in the Premier League, and that was a very, very good start. I think he's got around 3 years remaining on his contract with Leicester as James Maddison. 3 years remaining on his contract. I think he'll end up remaining loyal to Leicester because Brendan Rodgers did insist that James Maddison is happy with Leicester, and Leicester have been in talks over getting him a new contract for quite some time. So I don't think, Leicester will offload the player. But Leicester only paid £20 million to him from Norwich in the summer of 2018. Fueled speculation up last week, when James Maddison came out and revealed the best players he's ever played with, and he did mention 2 Man United players, and that's Harry Maguire and Marcus Rashford. And he also did mention Jadon Sancho, did James Maddison. So that fueled a bit of speculation up. But I don't see Maddison coming in, to be quite honest with you. Jack Grealish is a lot more imminent, than James Maddison, definitely. Son Niguez, there's been talks of him replacing Pogba. Don't see that happening because it said the other week we're not willing to meet Atletico Madrid's valuation. Atletico Madrid said they wanted around £130 million for Son Niguez, and we're only willing to pay like £70 million for him, so I don't see that happening. Serge Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio, we're seeing him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. I already gave you that news yesterday regarding Serge Milinkovic-Savic. So that's the latest news on Paul Pogba. Now I am going to delve into the news on Alexis Sanchez now. I think Sanchez is set to stay at Manchester United, so I'm basically reiterating what I've mentioned on my last couple of videos. So I think Sanchez is set to run his contract down with Man United, and he's under contract with us until 2022. Now, obviously, we don't want Alexis Sanchez to come back to the football club because we're looking to offload Sanchez permanently. But the stumbling block is his substantial wages. Because obviously, Sanchez, when he was at Man United, he was on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, with bonuses and image rights and that. And obviously, Sanchez is refusing to take a pay cut. He's refusing to take a pay cut basically. And, we may have to pay Sanchez around £10.8 million, with him refusing to take this pay cut. But, we need to get rid of him permanently, to free up our wage bill completely. But, Sanchez is on loan at Inter Milan at the moment. Inter Milan got him on loan last summer from us. Despite the fact that he's on loan at Inter Milan, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. We're still paying him around £300,000 a week, and Inter Milan are paying the other £100,000. So, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages, but Sanchez has enjoyed a very, very difficult time in the Serie A. He's only played, 7 times this season, He's only made 2 starts because Sanchez has had an ankle injury. Sanchez did enjoy a difficult 18 months with Man United. Obviously had a lot of injuries with us. He made 45 appearances in all competitions and only managed 5 goals. But when we got him from Arsenal back in January 2018, I thought it would have been an exceptional signing for us. We got him as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan going back to Arsenal. But I thought it'd been an exceptional signing because, look what he did in his 3.5-4 years of Arsenal. Very, very good. Played under Pep Guardiola's guidance when he was younger at Barcelona. So I thought, Sanchez would have been an exceptional signing, but he wasn't. So got to try and get rid of him permanently. And Solskjaer did say back in January that Sanchez would be coming back to prove everybody wrong in the summer. So basically what he was saying, he was going to give him a second chance at the club. But I don't want Sanchez back at Manchester United. He did recently say, by the way, that West Ham were interested in signing him. And I think West Ham have had negotiations with Alexis Sanchez's agent. But I think he's done well at all the teams, apart from, Inter Milan now and Man United. He's done well at the other clubs he's been at. Sanchez was also very, very good at underknees when he was younger. But he's in his early 30s now with Sanchez, isn't he? He's 31 or is he 32 years of age. But he's not willing to take this pay cut, so looks like, he will be coming back to Manchester United, will Sanchez. My perceptions will be totally comparison if Sanchez was to come back and, do very, very well. But, I don't want him back at Manchester United. Obviously, I've been keeping you up to date, haven't I, of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho. As you all know, Jadon Sancho is our #1 priority target for the summer transfer window. I think it's looking very, very imminent that Man United are going to sign Jadon Sancho in the summer. Obviously, I think we have convinced Jadon Sancho to sign for the club this summer, but no announcement has been made as yet. No announcement has been made as yet. Now, Jadon Sancho, as you all know, he's going to cost us around at least £100 million, but I think we'll probably end up paying around £120 million for his services. So, like I said earlier on in the video, we're getting £150 million to spend in the summer, and the vast majority of that money is going to be going on Jadon Sancho. And then obviously we're only going to have £30 million left to spend, so we're going to have to sell players as well. So let's just put that into the equation. But we're willing to pay what Borussia Dortmund are demanding, and even with the coronavirus outbreak, Borussia Dortmund do remain ruthless over their valuation. They're not willing to let Jadon Sancho go on the cheap, even with this coronavirus pandemic. Now, obviously, Dortmund only paid £7 or £8 million for him from Man City. That's all they paid for him, £7 or £8 million. But obviously, reflects on his good performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. Dortmund selling him this summer, they're going to make a huge profit on the player. Borussia Dortmund have come to accept the fact that he does want to leave to rejuvenate his career. Now, Dortmund are in the market to look for an adequate replacement for him. They've got Ferran Torres from Valencia on their agenda. They've got, Jude Bellingham on their agenda. Man United, by the way, are still in for Jude Bellingham. But yeah, I think we are going to get Jadon Sancho on the board. Man United are also willing to offer him the iconic number 7. And like I've mentioned before, we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. We're willing to offer Sancho £400,000 a week. So we're willing, to make him our best paid player as well as our most expensive signing. And I think we get Jadon Sancho and, it'll be one of the club's best attacks. Because Sancho, I think, will go well. He'll blend in very, very well alongside Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. Don't forget, Marcus Rashford did reveal that he wants Jadon Sancho at Manchester United next season. This is what he did reveal and that. And Jadon Sancho is predominantly a right winger. Occasionally, though, you can play him centrally. But, Sancho is a player that can score goals, he can create chances, his runs on and off the ball are very, very good. And he's only at the age of 20, just turned 20 years of age as Jadon Sancho. There was reports emerging out recently saying that if Man United don't get Champions League qualification, that Jadon Sancho will reject a move to Old Trafford. Also, Chelsea and Liverpool have been in for him as well, and a few other clubs have expressed their interest. But we've been in contact with Jadon Sancho's agent for a couple of months now, and Fabrizio Romano brought this news out the other week, and we've been working on his contract for quite some time now. But yeah, I think we are going to get Jadon Sancho in the summer. He's probably going to be our first signing in the summer transfer window. You can say we're definitely overpaying for him, but Man United are known for overpaying for players anyway, especially in recent years. I think our most expensive signings, obviously Paul Pogba is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. Obviously, our second most expensive signing is Harry Maguire, who we paid £80 million for, and he's the most expensive centre-half in the world. I think our third most expensive signing is it Wan-Bissaka, our third most expensive? Oh, it might be Bruno Fernandes, our third most expensive signing, because we paid £68 million for Bruno Fernandes with add-ons included. I think our fourth most expensive signing, is Wan-Bissaka. I think we paid £45 million for Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, Di Maria is obviously one of our most expensive signings. I think we paid £60 million for him under Louis van Gaal. You can say Matic is in that list as well because we paid £40 million for him. Fred's in that list, because we paid £50 million for him. So Man United are known for overpaying for players. But, we won't be able to get Sancho and Grealish, with £150 million unless, we do sell players to increase our transfer budget. There's some reports saying that we can still get both players with £150 million. Well, let's put Odion Ighalo into the equation. Now it's looking very, very likely that, we are going to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer in the summer, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did recently make this admission saying, we are going to decide to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer. We're going to get him. He's going to be a cheap solution. It's only going to cost us around £15 million to get him on a permanent transfer, because he's 30 or 31 years of age, Odion Ighalo. Obviously, Seder being 4 or 5 years younger, he'd cost a lot more than £15 million. But Odion Ighalo anyway has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. He's got 4 goals in 3 starts for the club, and he's a good cover up to Rashford. And like I mentioned, he's the focal point. And could Jadon Sancho, be the focal point if he comes in? We would be urged to build a side around him. But it's a similar sort of thing with Ighalo. He's the focal point. He's been a United fan since he was a boy. And his hold-up play is very, very good. And we've got him on loan at the moment. We paid around 3 or 4 million to get him on loan. And, we're paying like a third of his wages. Shanghai Shenhua, his parent club, they came out last week and said they was willing to offer Odion Ighalo around 400 grand a week. Plus a 2-year contract extension to convince him to turn down a permanent move to Man United and that. But we get Odion Ighalo permanently anyway. It'd be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th permanent signing as Manchester United manager and that. So we get Sancho and Ighalo. That's 135 million. Then we've only got 15 million pounds to spend. But we sell probably will get 100 million probably. If we was to sell De Gea, even though he's been a liability at least in last year and a half or so, I think we could still get in the 60 odd or 70 odd million pound range for De Gea. Obviously, Dean Henderson, I think, is coming back to Man United after his loan spell with Sheffield United. But if De Gea was to remain number 1, then maybe, he'd want to, go. He wants to leave Man United on a permanent transfer, would Dean Henderson. But some United fans do believe that Dean Henderson should become our number 1 goalkeeper and that. But Solskjaer's planning on getting rid of around 5 or 6 players in the summer. I think we'll definitely get rid of Jones in the summer because Jones can't even get into the team. We've got a lot of centre-halves in the team. You've got Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof that are our first choice centre-halves. You've got Bailly and Tuanzebe that are our backups as well. Smalling's out on loan, isn't he? But I don't see him coming back. Fosu Mensah can play as centre-half. Tuanzebe can also play as centre-half, like I mentioned. So we've got a lot of centre-halves in the team. So we'll get rid of Phil Jones in the summer. I think we'll definitely get rid of Jesse Lingard and Andres Pereira because they are 2 liabilities of Lingard and Andres Pereira. Lingard has lost the confidence of Solskjaer and Lingard has found game time difficult since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes and Andres Pereira. He's found game time, very, very difficult since McTominay came back. But I think both players are going. I give you the news on Lingard yesterday. It said Arsenal have been interested in him. That was stemming from The Athletic. Also, too, now Everton have entered the race for Lingard. Lingard's got exactly a year left on his Man United contract. He hasn't registered 1 goal or 1 assist in the Premier League for over a year, but I think he's on his way out of the club. I think we could get rid of Fosu in the summer. We'll negotiate on getting rid of Rojo on a permanent transfer. Smalling, we'll probably get rid of him on a permanent transfer and that. So yeah, players will definitely leave Manchester United in the summer. But a lot of players have left anyway since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival and that. But I just want the bloody season to, resume. The season's been suspended now since the 9th of March. It has actually, been suspended for almost a month. It's been suspended for almost a month. But like I mentioned on my recent video, public health is more of a priority, than, football or any other sporting event, etc., etc. But so my verdict on Solskjaer is, that I think, he does deserve more time at Manchester United. Like I mentioned, it takes some managers time, to settle in and get things right and that. Obviously, a prime example, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years when he came to the football club from Aberdeen. But look what he went and accomplished after, not winning out in his first 4 years. One of the most decorated managers of all time. He won the vast majority of our silverware under Alex Ferguson. Jurgen Klopp didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool. So I think Solskjaer does deserve more time. He deserves at least another season, definitely. He knows if he's given another season, Solskjaer, that he has got many expectations to exceed. But it is a transition period. It's a transition period, and Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year he's hopeful that we can get through this transition period. But like I've mentioned before, Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team because there's only 5 players out of his that he has recruited in so far. The vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's. Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players in at Man United, and there's still 9 of those players here now. And Solskjaer was talking about, I think he mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, he was talking about how he had to overhaul the squad when, you know, he replaced Mourinho back in December 2018. And I've got to say, you know, I've seen changes under Solskjaer than what I saw under Mourinho. You know, he's changed the tactics, the players, the personnel, and the players, you know, some of the players look much better under the Solskjaer era than what they did under the Jose Mourinho era. But yeah, and you know, Mourinho enjoyed 2.5 years at Man United. I've already given you the main explanations why it didn't work out under Mourinho. Board weren't back in the signings that I wanted to recommend in. You know, he had bad disputes with the top players, and we just recommended Mourinho in too late. There's still players here from a couple of players here from the Van Gaal era. There's still Matter here from the David Moyes era. I think there's only Jones and De Gea here now from the Alex Ferguson era. Man United, we've sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era, and Manchester United are not really known for a sacking football club, so let's just put that into the equation. But we are one of the biggest clubs in the world, with fantastic history, a fantastic fan base, an ecstatic stadium, one of the best stadiums in the country, most successful team in England, 20 titles, 13 of them Premier Leagues. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, which is 7 years ago now. We've had a lot of good players up and down the generation, so you can see what Solskjaer is trying to implement at the club. We need to give him at least one more transfer window to see who he can, you know, recommend in. If it doesn't work out going on to next season, that's when I would get rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, definitely in that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.